Hey guys, welcome back to Lit Sports Online. This episode is going to be about some NFL news. Ezekiel Elliott, the hearing is done, but the arbiter still has to decide on if there's going to be a reduction to his suspension or if it's going to be removed entirely or kept the same. But we're expecting that decision is going to be made by Monday. In the meantime, what possible outcomes are we looking at, and what do we think about this?
When you look at the evidence that's there, how nothing went on further in court, I would think it would get reduced or just completely gone with, just based off of what's in front of us. But my personal opinion, Roger Goodell may stick with his original sentence of 6 games, just because he doesn't want to backtrack on anything that he may have said previously. But again, when you look at the evidence, there's Ezekiel Elliott through the whole time has cooperated with the judicial system, law enforcement. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, while the girl who has accused him of such crimes hasn't cooperated, hasn't shown up on certain events, so there hasn't been much cooperation on the other end. So all leads to where it will get decreased or removed, but it's all in the hands of Roger Goodell and not the government.
Yeah, this is a joke, honestly. I mean, from what I've been getting out of this, I think this is something that there isn't a lot of evidence against Ezekiel Elliott. I honestly, from a logical point of view, I would say overturn this. This is a joke. Apologize. Make sure this kid plays the first few games of the year. This has gone on long enough. This dog and pony show, over it. But it is scary when you said Roger Goodell could keep the suspension in, because then it's like, well, Roger Goodell's like, well, that means I'm wrong. But you are wrong. You should admit that you're wrong.
Right.
You've been wrong multiple times, and I understand the league zero policy, zero tolerance policy on domestic abuse. I get that, and I understand that. But when there's no evidence of abuse, when there's been more evidence against any such action, I say overturn it, man.
And I think the biggest thing is what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
These are all allegations.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing has further went on in court. Even the prosecuting lawyer has said there's no evidence to continue.
Yeah.
So when you look at other people, maybe like an Adrian Peterson, to where there were pictures, there were multiple reports it's been proven in court,
Mm-hmm.
where the kicker for the Giants, Josh Brown, he publicly admitted to it. I think he's out of a job. I don't think he has one. Ray Rice, the video. So there's evidence to support it. So while there may have been pictures and police reports filed by the accuser in this situation, these are all accusations.
And again, he's so young in his career, and that's what's so sad about it. It's like, this is a kid that's young in his career, and he's virtually in trouble for a rumor. You're in trouble for a rumor. You're missing 6 games. That's a lot of games, dude. That's 6 games plus a bye week.
Right.
You've missed most of the season. You've missed almost half the season simply off of a rumor. That's not fair.
Right. Now, I don't want to take away from
Yeah.
the fact of the police report and
Mm-hmm.
the photos of the woman,
Yeah.
because what I read in the police report and the photos were very disturbing. They do kind of line up with each other. But it just goes back to these are accusations.
Yeah.
Nothing's been proven in a court of law. It's not going to continue. So with this being a crime that hasn't been proven, I don't understand how the NFL can step in. I get it how it violates their code of conduct policy, but again, allegation.
Well, he hasn't been arrested or charged, so where's
Right.
the police report coming in?
Well,
But
it's
it was the one
initial
originally
report
filed
when they called the cops.
when she
Okay.
originally reported it.
Well, here's my thing. And like I said, if he is found guilty of this, yes, he deserves the punishment.
Right.
But if there has not been any proof or any definitive decision on the fact that this guy's innocent or guilty, I don't think they should have made the decision so fast.
Right. And if you think about it from the other side of the standpoint, let's just say, for instance, hypothetically, it did happen. He did get accused, he did get charged, and he was convicted of it. So when you look at it from that standpoint, if you give a person that committed a crime, such as domestic violence, 6 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at Tom Brady, who violated the code of conduct policy, gained a competitive advantage with the whole inflation of the ball or deflation of the ball situation. You're talking about somebody deflating a ball, getting 4 games. And if Ezekiel Elliott did do it and committed a crime, you're giving him 6 games. So you're basically saying a crime of domestic violence is worth 2 more games than somebody deflating a football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't understand the logic behind
Well,
it.
the suspensions have never really made a whole lot of sense at the end of the day. I mean, there's been so much variables, even with the same type of action. with domestic violence, there's been guys that have been like out for the whole year or don't get signed because of it.
Right.
Then there's guys that don't serve anything, and same with performance enhancing drugs and things like that. They all vary, and that usually doesn't end up making much sense. But I agree that it's one of those things where we need proof before we go and take away the guy's livelihood.
Yeah. Again, this is someone's job. This is someone's livelihood that's at stake, and again, this is just the NFL, I think, in another example of just how horribly they handle such situations. I mean, again, the Ray Rice situation. You first suspend them for a few games, and then you ban them completely. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, you look at it from a standpoint of what Justin just said. I mean, the suspensions don't make sense. You have people that violate the code of conduct, whether it's performance enhancing drugs, that have jobs next week. Or if you look, I believe it was 2 years ago, offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys was driving intoxicated and killed his best friend. So he still played the next 2 weeks, or was on the roster for the next 2 weeks until it was decided in a court of law. And I can't remember the decision of the team whether they decided to keep him or let him go. Yeah. But they actually let that play out. I think we've let this play out. The court isn't going to let it play out anymore. But for some reason, they're sticking with the 6 games. So we'll have to see where it goes. At least the decision.
Honestly, I think the way the NFL should work, if it is found true to be in a court of law, the punishment should have pulled. That's honestly what I think, flat out. If it's not found true, if he's found not guilty, then again, it should be overturned. It's simple as that. It's black and white to me, honestly. But again, the NFL doesn't work that way, and that's just the situation at hand. It is very sad, if it turns out that, again, he didn't do anything, and he still has started a suspension, because this really puts a dent in his career, honestly, at least this season. Right. This season. I mean, you're out of football shape for 6 weeks. You don't get any game time,
Well, yeah, he wouldn't get on the field till week 8 because they're buying him.
Exactly.
And then you also got to look at it just from a team standpoint, not only individual missing out on competing, chemistry, and I mean just overall team performance. I mean, he was arguably the Cowboys' best player last year.
Probably one of the best rushers in the league.
1-2 Dak Prescott on the team, so you take away arguably the top player or the second best player. Yeah. Where does your team end up in those 6 weeks? Exactly. So if Ezekiel's starting and they go 4-2, and all of a sudden now he's not playing, they're 2-4.
And that's something else I want to talk about also is that, a lot of people expect that Darren McFadden and Alfred Morris will easily pick up the slack, but the fact is, Elliott in my opinion, he's right on par with Derrick Henry for the best running backs out of that draft class, or maybe even a small step above Henry. So, yeah, I mean, having him back on the team definitely helps, and even early on with those tough defenses, you still got to get the running game going.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, that's exactly that. I mean, I think Derrick Henry isn't up to that yet just because of the playing time. Ezekiel Elliott was able to step in right off the bat while Derrick Henry is behind.
Well, I'm just saying if Henry had the same opportunity out of the gate.
Same offensive line, stuff like that. Okay. And I get what you're saying when it comes to people think like Darren McFadden and Alfred Morris is going to easily step in. And maybe the true cases in certain situations with certain defenses because Alfred Morris, 2 years, obviously not as of late, but for 2 years he ran for over 1,300 yards. Darren McFadden has put up multiple 1,000-yard seasons. So it can be done. It can fill a void. But it's a question of for how long.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's how long are the Dallas Cowboys going to last again. It's also a decision on between right and wrong. But it really isn't much of a segue into our next subject, honestly. We're going to talk about the hurricane.
Right. I mean, sticking with Texas, my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody, not only in the city of Houston, but in everywhere that is affected by the hurricane or that has been affected. And I applaud anybody that not only donated their hard-earned money, but also the individuals that went out of their way, not only from the city of Houston and the city or the state of Texas, but have helped to save people's lives.
Actually, Dallas and Houston were actually booked to have a preseason game this week, and they canceled it. And a lot of games, actually, sporting events, have been postponed or canceled one way or another. BYU is supposed to take LSU at NRG Stadium this weekend, but it just goes to show you, again, these are just sports. Again, these are real-life people dealing with this issue, and this is something that's touched me deeply, watching the images that have come out of Houston, seeing just images of elderly people in senior centers with floodwaters up to their waist, and it's something that has really just touched me, and I wanted to speak on it. We have links below that have ways you can donate, you can give money, send supplies. I mean, these people, it's literally, I read a report the other day, and it said 15 trillion gallons of water are laying on Houston right now. That's the equivalent of the Chesapeake Bay. From Middle River up north, all the way down to Virginia Beach, wherever it drops off in Virginia, wherever that is. 15 trillion gallons of water are laying on top of the fourth largest city in the country. And it's just really sad to see a lot of what's happening right now. And again, reaching out to our fans, reaching out to even people on the LitTube team. If you can help, donate, and just keep your prayers for these people. It's really bad down there, and it's not getting any better.
Right, and the other thing you gotta take some time to applaud specifically, at least what's been the most kind of can't say televised, but most publicized is JJ Watt.
JJ Watt, yes.
He started his relief fund or his donation campaign. He originally started out with a goal, I think, of $500,000, and because it exceeded 3-4 million, he now upped his goal to 10 million. I think you said it reached that. And the list of celebrities and athletes that have gone along with it and donated are tremendous. And it's only going to help not only in saving people's lives, but in the recovery and the aftermath of it.
Yeah, again, after people are saved and everything's long and done, the city has to be rebuilt. The city's virtually underwater, and that's just terrifying to think about. And it means people's lives are disrupted, so if you can do anything, donate in one of the links down below. We'll have them for you, I promise you. Just click down below and do whatever you can. From the LitTube team, myself, our prayers are with the people in Houston, and we just pray for safety of those people and that God watch over them.